As the bees buzz their way through the flowers, I see one sitting patiently on my father's black trouser. My father, unaware about the presence of the guest, slides his forefinger on the mobile phone recently bought in Delhi. He wants to capture every emotion that skims through his heart as he sits on the land of my beloved Dadaji. This new structure built cannot emulate the house that stood here 2 years ago, but the memories of my father's childhood hum a tune that, just like the bee, sit in his heart, unaware. Write about a village, he says, looking at me, hoping someone to pour out his feelings on a piece of paper. I want to, I tell him genuinely, but the words make it hard. To a city woman, the women here can seem a little intimidating. They can easily make you nervous with their invincible demeanor and strong Himachali accent. Fearless as they are, someone like me seems vulnerable. But beneath this rough exhibit lies happy and amicable individuals. They're not only hospitable but also very thoughtful about the comfort of an outsider like me. In no time did I, an alien to this life, got so attached to their newly born and thereafter became a part of their family. My father, on the other hand, is not seen as a Delhi Babu. He belongs to this place and its people. He's a true Dangohi. Dangoh village lies around 3 kilometers from Daultpur Chowk on Una Talwara Road, 12 kilometers from Mubarakpur, and falls under of Una district. My grandfather was one of the first people of the village to migrate to Delhi. Today, we revel in his courage and walk through the quaint lanes of his village with pride. As we stroll out early in the morning, my father and I venture into the untouched beauty of the land so ancient. He goes on to narrate stories of how his grandfather would chuckle as they clicked and twisted their feet to the city tangos. Meanwhile, I try to capture the movement of my father on my phone, making memories of my own. Ronnie, our neighbor's dog, follows us as we walk past the yellow fields covered in mist. At a distance, I hear the water dripping onto the leaves, almost as if it was pouring. My father stops at a little shop and buys a packet of Parle-G. He then whistles and, breaking the biscuit into half, feeds the dog. As Ronnie gallops the biscuits, we walk for a few meters ahead and see a cow slowly slipping into the mossy water of the pond on the left. What if it drowned, I wonder? I look at my father, who is even more baffled at why Ronnie did not follow him. They have marked territories, I try to explain. We go further down the road, almost breathing in the beauty of the land. To me, the yellow fields stretched far and wide seemed like a dream. My father, on the other hand, nostalgically looks around, trying to bring out every memory buried deep inside the reality of his city life. There, he says, pointing at a distance, that's the land we owned. I look at the little arch at the corner of his lips, and his eyes wide open at the side. We had 2 bulls, he continues, with eyes still fixed at something far away. Hira and Moti, That duo was the strongest in the village. This was not an ordinary walk. To him, this was a doorway to his precious childhood days. For some reason, I envied him. I had no special memories like he did. Moreover, city life was dull. I never had the chance to run wild. How can you with all that concrete? On reaching our house, the newly born from the outside invites me with his giggles and gurgles. I get drawn to the baby, smiling and gesturing me to come to him with his little fingers. I lift him up and he wraps his arms around me. I did not feel like an alien to the place or people anymore. They had, just like the baby, embraced me. The next day was Guru Purab. People all over the country were visiting gurdwaras and praying. Presuming there was no Sikh population in the village, I asked my neighbor how much time it would take for us to reach the nearest gurdwara. 5 minutes walking, he said, just by the corner of this road. Now that was pleasantly shocking. I want to go, I told my father. He was equally astonished and eager to accompany us. Let's invite your mom too, he said. As we were walking down the road, I peered into the faded brown huts. As I peeped inside, a woman, a little younger than my mother, sat squatting, milking a buffalo. There was a rhythm in her hand movements, and I was intrigued by the perfection and beauty of how she did it with such ease. I was so engrossed in the beauty of her act that I did not notice when a boy as tall as me came and stood right next to me. He was carrying a bucket on his hand, and it smelled of fresh cow dung. "Ye kahan le ja rahe ho?" I inquired politely to release the embarrassment I felt as I was caught peeping. "Niche," he simply answered, smiling. I traced the footsteps of my father and mother and continued to follow them to the Gurdwara. The village Gurdwara was a straight white structure without a dome, unlike the Gurdwara we generally see in cities. Moreover, on such a special occasion, it was empty. There was not a soul inside. Our neighbor opened the gate and we stepped inside, worrying if we needed permission. We offered our prayers and stepped outside, amazed at the peace and calm we felt. Personally, I was astounded at the harmony that prevailed in the village, where even a minority had their own space to pray. This stood sharply in contrast with the ongoing news about the Ayodhya verdict and tensions in the area. That's what I'll write about, I thought to myself. The idea of harmony that existed deep inside the Himalayan roots was enticing. This village is an epitome of an ideal place where different communities live together, support each other. A place where every household independently carries out all chores, and the distinction on the basis of vocation is non-existent. This is my village. This is Dangoh.